This is the setup and basics of the new Samsung Watch 5 Pro mobile device. The box is way bigger than what I expected for just a watch, but I guess they wanted to pad it very carefully to make sure there was no damage in shipping. And eventually, once you get through all the packing materials, you actually get down to the products, which is the Superfast Wireless Charger Duo and the actual Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. I should also note that I received the Power Adapter Duo shortly after ordering the product. That arrived just within a couple days, and then these two products arrived just today. The Duo is just like any other little charging block, except the thing that makes this a little bit unique is that, first of all, it's bigger, but it has both the USB-C and the standard USB inputs for cords. So you can be plugging two things into one, which is handy because a lot of us have 2 or 3 of these blocks around the house with multiple things that use them. So that's a pretty handy little tool to have. With the super fast charger, I have just a USB on the end of it, which is fine. That can probably go somewhere else. And then I have the actual charging pad and the cord that goes with it. The cord goes in the side, the other end goes in the back of the charging brick. So this is ready to charge the watch. Now, the actual watch itself, trying not to destroy the packaging just in case. I'd have to send it back because I have a bad one. That's slick. The presentation is sharp. That is a slick looking watch. Very elegant black band. I think I ordered the sports band. I guess that's what it looks like. And then that should be the black titanium face. It's a fairly heavy watch. You can see the side of it. It's pretty thick too, actually. If I compare it to my Polar Ignite, this gives you kind of an idea of how much thicker it is. There's the Polar Ignite compared to the Samsung watch. Now, to be fair, the Samsung does a whole lot more than the Polar, but I'm just kind of using this as a comparison to show you how big it is. It's not actually terribly that much heavier, but you can definitely feel it. Let's see what other goodies we have in here. Inside of that box, you basically have the quick start and this charger, which is very similar to, again, the Polar charger. So that's a look at kind of the face of it, and that's a look at the back side. And the charger has a little bit of a dish to it, and it's magnetic, as you can tell. It sticks to it. All right, quick start guide. This being the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, there's 2 buttons on the face of this. The one up on top is power home, on off, and this one down here is back. So I'm going to charge the battery as the first step. So let me take these and go charge the battery first and then come back and get it started. And you can see when it's charging, you get the little lightning bolt right in the middle of it. So that lets us know that the battery is in fact charging. So we'll set that down and, oh, there we go. So it actually shows it's at 73% right now, which is pretty good. So 73 is high enough that I can get started setting this up. So I'll wait and finish charging it later. Now, how about if I actually put it on? Now this band is a little bit different than anything I've seen before. I'm used to just the buckle type on the Polar watch, but when you see it, it looks a little confusing. What you do is you pull up here and that releases this, and then it becomes like some of the other clasp type watches. So you get it to where you want, and then you push this thing over and grab it, and then you have a normal watch with your locking band. So now I got to take a bunch of space out of there. So now I have to open it, get it in, pull it open. This is definitely not as user-friendly as just having a buckle, and I may look and see if they have that as an option, because at first blush, I am not a fan of this. Especially because these fitness watches, if you have a gap between the watch and your wrist, you're not going to get a good reading on your heart rate. And that's a big concern. So, as your arms swell and shrink throughout the day, that could be a problem. Like, see, if you're moving around and you're losing connection to the watch, and there's daylight between the watch and your wrist, you're not going to be getting a reading for that heart rate. The other thing I noticed, as far as using this charging pad, for a phone, works fine. You put it over there, your little light turns red, and you get the green circle thing saying that you're charging your phone. For the watch, however, because of this band that I don't care for, you have to take it apart every time, which means you lose your adjustment setting, which is frustrating. But then even to put it on there, it doesn't work. You can't put it on this way. It's not going to charge upside down. You can't put it this way because the band will keep it from going down. If I push down on it in the middle, now my red light comes on and it says it's charging, but I'm not going to sit there and hold it down for however long it takes to charge. The minute you let go of it, the red light goes off because the bottom of the watch is no longer in contact with that because the band holds the middle of the watch up. So you can't just lay it on there and charge, which means this charging pad is worthless for the watch. The only way to charge the watch as it is with that charger that came with it that goes on the bottom side. So that's a little bit frustrating because this would have been nice to have by the bed. After charging the battery, it says download the Galaxy Wearable app. So we go to Google Play, there we go, Play Store. All right, and I want the Samsung Wearable, Galaxy Wearable Samsung Gear. Now there's a couple that show up. The Galaxy Wearable Samsung Gear is what I assume is the first one. That's interesting, it says it's already installed. Okay, now I probably need to turn this thing on. Activate your Galaxy Watch. Checks whatever else. Okay, so I'm going to hold the button in and turn it on. And we get the familiar Samsung logo. So I'll wait until this comes up. It says welcome. Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, welcome. I'm gonna hit scan again and see if it sees it this time. And there it says Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. Check the number on your watch. Okay, so that number matches. I'm going to confirm it. It says downloading software. Check mark. All right, so it does come back on and it says, is that the right passkey? Yes. Pair? Yes. Sending of diagnostic data, optional, I agree to automatic updates. Yeah, I suppose. Allow to access calendar, allow call logs, contacts, phone calls, messages. This comes up the Google Terms of Service. Getting your watch ready. Okay, now it's going through setup, getting Google account info. The LTE chip in here will have to be activated through, for me, it'll be AT&T. All right, and that's me. Verify your identity. Can I do this? Yep, okay, it took my fingerprint. Back up and watch, same. Okay, so sure, auto backup. Set up a mobile plan. Finding out more about your plan. So maybe it'll actually let me do it right from here. Stay connected. You'll need a QR code or activation code from your service provider. If you already have one, tap use code. Okay, I don't believe I have a QR or activation code. I'll skip that for now. Now there is a tips and user manual down here. What's new? So it says adjustment settings, apps and features, health, wearing your watch, set up a mobile plan. Okay, and the watch says you're all set. Okay, and that's the screen that came up to start with. Now the watch says take a tour of your watch. Take a tour of your watch. I'll start here. Swipe down from the top to open a quick panel. Okay, so to go back to the watch face. So that's a basic. For apps, swipe up from the bottom edge, and there's a whole bunch of them. Swipe down to go back to the watch face, okay? So basically your watch face is in the middle. You swipe from up and you get the quick items. You swipe from the bottom, you get the apps. Swipe right from the left and you get notifications. And it says tap to open this notification. This is tips. Swipe right from the edge to go back to the previous screen. Okay, so if I do that, it goes, okay. Swipe left to go back to the watch face. So no matter what you do, for tiles, for tiles go left. Daily activity, press the home key to go to the watch face from any screen. Okay, so that button will always get you back to the home. It says enjoy your watch, don't miss a thing. Orange dot over here indicates new indications, okay? So no matter where you are on the watch, you can go down and you can have all these different quick items. Oh, okay, so an email just came in. So it's connected because it's buzzing at me to tell me I have an email over here, and it just came up there. So I'm gonna hit the button again to go back to my watch face. I can go up from there and I have all the apps. To reorder apps, touch and hold and drag an app icon, okay? And then from this side, I get my email notice. And then from here, I get my daily activity. So this looks like the health stuff, so that's good to know. Okay, so watch faces. Let's see what we want to do here. I definitely don't like whatever that is. Flower garden, can do without that. Kinetic digits. The Pro Analog is the one that comes as is. But then you have this one, which shows you the date, the time, the weather. It's got a little bicycle. I hope it doesn't plan on me getting on a bicycle. But it says you can customize it. So if I want this, and some of these things you're just going to have to start somewhere and play with it and figure out what you want to change where. Pro Analog is what they call this one. And you can see it change back over to here. And if they have the little icon that shows the down button, that basically means that you have to download it, I guess. Yeah, it is just not cooperating on the customization, and I don't know if things like this are user error on my part. It is a brand new product. There could be bugs in it. It could just take time to get itself all figured out. Don't really know. Oh, here we go. Pre-made. Okay, so now that I restarted both the watch and the phone, that's interesting. So you can change to pre-made one, but you can change the background. Let's say I want a black background. And then I want indexes. So that's basically how do you want the outer rim to look. So I can just make a normal clock. Then complication color. In complication 1, I want to say my heart rate. So there's my heart rate. Complication 2, the date. 3 to the time. And then let's put complication 4, the ECG. Okay, so let's save this. And now I have my heart rate and my ECG, and then I have the time and the date. So it's something pretty simple, but it's got a couple little health things. Okay, so I've gone to watch faces. Tiles, okay. The alarm, I like the idea of having an alarm. Calendar, contacts, media controller, no idea, but I'll add that. Blood oxygen, ooh, now I like the look of that. Food, Samsung Health, yes, I want that. Can't add more than 15 tiles. Okay, so you're limited to 15 tiles. So, daily activity, sure. Alarm, yes. Calendar, yes. What's this one? Media controller. Contacts, sure, I need that. I need that for my music. Blood oxygen, I love the look of that. Multi-workouts, Samsung Health. route. I don't know what route is, so I'm going to get rid of that. Body composition, I like the sound of that. Sleep. Yeah, I kind of got to know my sleep. Weather, I mean, it's nice, but event calendar, I don't necessarily need this. ECG, yes, absolutely. Heart rate, absolutely. Stress, that sounds like it's important too. Okay, so that's 13 out of 13. Now I do want, what else do we have in here? We have water, we have steps, we have health summary, we have food. So I want food and I want health summary, and that's my 15 out of 15. So save those. Those are my tiles. The app screen kind of looks like your normal phone. Samsung Health, that's big, okay, that's fine. Quick panel, bedtime mode, turn off, settings, do not disturb, always on display. Oh, that's kind of handy, so you can have the face always on if you want to be able to see it. Flashlight brightness, all those. Makes sense. You have available buttons like Bluetooth, mobile data, NFC, touch sensitivity. So there's some different things you can set there. The watch settings come up and they look almost identical to the phone settings. So you would go through notification, sound, vibration, display. If I want the text, it's the same one over here. Okay, and then there's all my contacts. So it just, some of these things, I guess it just takes a little time for it to figure out. I'm used to something very responsive on a bigger device, so it just takes a little bit of time. Install or update messages on your phone, open on phone. So maybe I need messages. The Samsung phone has a normal text function and it shows up here and here. But then the watch also has this messages function, which it's showing me that I need to load it onto my phone as well. So I don't really know what the difference is between this Samsung one and the normal texting. Maybe it's got something to do in how it texts back and forth between Samsungs. And it's sort of like the text icon, except it's upside down. So I'm going to open that. Set default SMS app, sure. Set as default, okay. Okay, now it's a little bit more colorful. I don't know if there's anything beyond that. Phone. Okay, here, now it's actually showing. Okay, so somebody wants to harass me about selling my house. So I'll type skip and send it. Now that I've gone to the Samsung messages, they're showing up over there and on the watch. So I guess that for some reason it doesn't like the text one, and it only lets you use one or the other one. So I can just use this one, I guess. And I may want to make that more prominent in here. Can I reorder that? Yep. And so I held it down and I put it up one of the top because I've got the phone, the texts, and the contacts. That makes sense. And then I'll figure the rest out as I go. But, you know, again, if you want to move something, you just take settings, you move it up, and you drop it where you want. So that's how you can reorder your apps, and then you just swipe down for that. I have my text right here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it to a latter page. And then I'm going to find that messages, and I'm going to put that down here. So now if I go to messages, I see these things, and that's what I see over here on the phone when I go to messages as well, right at the top. So the main thing I have to do yet is talk to AT&T and get the LTE switch activated in this device. So that's my quick take on thoughts around setting up the Samsung Watch 5 Pro. Once I figure out how to use the biometrics and health tracking and everything of this device a little bit better, I'll figure out what works best for me, and I'll post another video that will show how I do it, how it compares to the Polar Ignite that I currently have, and I'll check accuracy of one against the other as well. So please subscribe below so that you can see that video when it comes out and see how to best track your health stats using this technology.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel below and let's celebrate turning fuel and air into adrenaline.